Up tomorrow, match at the SCG between New South Wales and South Australia, with the news that New South Wales has won the toss and elected to bat. Got themselves into a little bit of trouble. 4 down for 46, Michael Slater, Mark Waugh, Michael Bevan and Shane Lee all out. Roberts is on 12 not out at the moment. Richard Cheekwee yet to score, so 4 for 46. An interesting situation for New South Wales. Their players who were representing Australia in the World Cup had the option to play. As you can see from the scorecard, Stephen Waugh and Mark Taylor, as well as Glenn McGrath, have elected not to play in this match. So still New South Wales with quite a strong batting lineup, but the South Australians have done a good job this morning. Really set them on the back foot. 4 for 46 at the moment. South Australian team at the bottom of the competition at the moment. That's their side. Nobes, Lehmann, Blewett, Jamie Siddons, the captain. Taron Webber, James Brayshaw gives them quite a strong batting lineup. Joe Scuderi, wicketkeeper Tim Nielsen, Tim Mays in the side. Gillespie and Wigney, the two bowlers who have caused all the problems this morning. Joe Scuderi is into the attack for South Australia at the moment. 2 in this competition. Hasn't played a lot of matches out there yet to score. It's part of quite a strong batting lineup for this New South Wales side. They have got a lot of representation in the Australian team. Has hampered their Sheffield Shield performance this year, but in the Mercantile Mutual Cup match, just 2 down to mid-on. And that attacking field on the offside has been there as a result of Wigney's ability to get the ball to move away from the right-hander, and he did that beautifully this morning when he got the wicket of Michael Slater.
Yes, and that one certainly did move away, and a big disappointment there for Michael Slater. Caught behind off Wigney's bowling, just pushing at it really, and this is Bevan. He went after that one and straight to May. Another big blow. They were hoping that he'd turn it on here today, so with the crowd that have turned up. So all of a sudden, Slater and Bevan back in the pavilion, and that's a nasty start for New South Wales.
Lose the wickets of Slater and Bevan there. Shane Lee came in at number 4, promotion in the batting order, but didn't get anywhere near that drive off the bowling of Gillespie again. Only succeeded in hitting it straight to Jamie Siddons, who took the catch. Mark Waugh was the next man to go. He tried to drive as well, nowhere near the ball, and sliced that one out to Greg Blewett, who took a very good catch at point.
He'll be mixing up his pace a bit.
Slower ball and almost out again, but Roberts gets it by Jamie Siddons, who's put himself into short cover. Good piece of captaincy. The bowling was absolutely spot on. It drew the drive in the air, but Siddons not able to latch onto it.
Yes, this is exactly what you like to see a batsman do to a slower ball, especially if you've got man in at short extra. You can see there the ball gripped back in his grip a little bit in the air, and just a fraction wide of the right hand there of the South Australian captain. Close call.
It's in the air as well, but down through the gully area. James Brayshaw is at third man. Keeps it to a single. The call is at the go to the bowler's end. So they're safely home. 4 runs coming from the over. 4 for 63. Priest. That's down the leg side now. That's got that very fine. Wilson is field at the moment, and they only get 2 because there's been one short signalled by umpire Darrell Hare at the bowler's end. There it is. Just pointing out that it's important to get the bat down in the crease. That's beautifully driven. There's a man out there at deep cover, but he can't beat that. That's a magnificent stroke from Cheekwee. He really does hit them hard.
Beautifully played. That's relieved the pressure just a little bit. New South Wales 4 down for 73.
Neat stroke. And they'll pick up at least 2. If Cheekwee wants to come back for the third, he'll make it safely enough. Morning. I was just saying a little while ago that I've heard some good reports about Gillespie. One short signal there. That's the second time that's happened this morning. Really reaching out in front of his pad there. Roberts is the man taking strike.
Starting to gain in confidence, Kevin Roberts. Early on, he was hitting some quite good shots, but hitting them straight to the fielders. Now, with the confidence growing, he's starting to find the gaps.
Looking for 2.
South Australia on the bottom of the table at the moment, so they need desperately to get the 2 points. They made a terrific start, getting rid of the internationals very quickly, coming off just 78 balls. And a valuable partnership for New South Wales.
To try to stop that little push of a single. Good sweep. Tried one in the previous over where he swept it from well outside off stump. Another answer Richard Cheekwee is providing here.
Really given that one a thump. He made just sliding a little bit more towards the stumps on this occasion. That meant he could get it away behind square.
Just going back to that one.
Right.
That's very well run. Richard Cheekwee was a little slow to start because he wasn't certain the man was going to get across from mid-wicket, and he had to wait for a fraction. And he's paying for it now.
No, he's actually just checked with umpire Hare to see how much he got home by, and umpire Hare said not by very much. He's already been short run on 2 occasions. He thought he'd done it a 3rd time.
Placement. Just evaded the diving fielder by a matter of inches, but that's all you need to do.
Yeah, this is where his innings has really picked up, Kevin Roberts. He hit a couple of thumping off drives early in his innings, but hit them straight to the fielders. On that occasion, meticulous with his placement, and he reaped the reward.
Good effort. That's good fight back by these 2 players. Roberts has now reached his half century. Good performance.
Warm work out there for the redhead. He will enjoy his first 50.
was better than 2. That was a lovely stroke from Richard Cheekwee.
He's a real thumper of the ball, Richard Cheekwee. A lot of wood in that bat. Anything that's up there, he gives it a thump. I think Greg Blewett's probably pleased he missed that with his boot.
And say, excuse me, son, come here. Don't run down the centre of the pitch.
And perhaps not quite that.
In my era, Ian, it would have been as polite as that. Good shot. Beautifully placed away over extra cover. There was a man in close to stop the single, but no one deep at extra cover. Beautifully placed.
Well, Cheekwee starting to grow in confidence as well. Tim May still trying to flight the ball to him, to tempt him, using that heavy bat to good effect.
Good running between the wickets again. Took the thrower on and really motored down there for the second run.
He's a big man, Richard Cheekwee, but he's a good athlete.
And they've got New South Wales back on track. Well, whatever methods Richard Cheekwee has decided to use against Tim May, who can worry batsmen with not the greatest of footwork, Cheekwee's methods are working at the moment. He's either pushing for singles or sweeping and doing it well.
Everything's in working order.
Catch it!
Big divot, but no catch. Tim May will be disappointed in that. Bowled for it, almost got it. It's just one of the frustrations of being a spin bowler.
It's a different angle there has caused Richard Cheekwee a problem. He gets the leading edge. It went very high. Unfortunately, Pat Wigney wasn't able to get in there quick enough.
Here's a good answer. Almost 6. It was only, I reckon, about 5 metres from the fence when it hit the ground. Lovely timing out there.
I wonder if they pay out for first bounce hits into the sign. This one went very close to the Mercantile Mutual sign. Should be worth something, a first bounce hit.
The country something. There's another one. That's a good shot. Very well played. And that's probably his best shot of the day. It was up there. It was there for the taking. An attempt at a Yorker, but he had to hit it through the gap. Pretty tight gap too, and he did exactly that.
Kevin Roberts places bowlers under notice. If they over-pitch slightly, he's going to make them pay. The mid-wicket is very shallow there. And Roberts doesn't miss out on those. Great head position. He knew the moment he middled it, it was going all the way.
Well, that's the story. 133 balls for the 100.
These two played Gillespie and Adelaide during a recent Shield game, and when the shine had gone off the new ball, which he tries to swing away, he relied on big... having lived here all my life, I tend to take it for granted, Tony, but yes, you did right. Bit of a city, this, isn't it?
Yes, so many do. I suppose it's, what is it? It's Sydney, Cape Town, Rio, the ones they talk about in terms of beauty. Bit like the Melbourne Cricket Ground, that one. And that's Richard Cheekwee's half-century. And hats off to him as well. He came out to bat today when the going was tough, And he's a pretty relaxed customer. It's a good innings.
From just 67 balls, so the strike rate's right. He entered this match under pressure. New South Wales 4.
To get yourself one of those lovely photographs. That's the first ball after the drinks break, and nonchalantly chipped over the infield there down to deep mid-wicket for another 2. So Richard Cheekwee is continuing to dominate out there at the moment. He's played very well indeed. He came out when Slater wore Bevan and... Oh, there he goes again. That's blazed away on the offside. It'll be picked up by mid-off, who's very deep and has to run around. It's quite a slow wicket out there, so these sorts of shots are very useful. He's hitting them over, targeting the infielder, straight over the top of his head. And they'll always be right up till about 5 overs out. They can really get stuck in. He could be in for some very good entertainment this afternoon. Oh, he was down playing that shot before he let the ball go, and that's magnificently played. That's the third boundary he's hit in that area. What beautiful timing that was. It really seemed to me that before the ball left the hand of the bowler, he was down on one knee. Clubbed it away square.
And textbook suggests you sweep spinners if you're going to play the stroke. Richard Cheekwee doesn't bother with the textbook all that much. A medium fast delivery from Scanderi, down on one leg. 4.
And again, this is in the air, and it's going to go down there. No one fielding in that area, so really he's decided to get stuck into him and literally pick him to pieces. 4 for 165. It's well played. Will it be cut off? Yes, well fielded. That's way down the long corner of the ground. So a record 5th wicket stand for New South Wales.
Aggressive fashion. Gentle medium pace, James Brayshaw. And Richard Cheekwee's found a huge gap out there. Roberts is looking for 3, but Cheekwee's not.
Richard Cheekwee needs to get on his bike. There was certainly 3. Roberts running very quick between the wickets. He was halfway back down the wicket. There's Cheekwee evidence there by those stats.
And that's found the gap. Really has been a feature of this partnership. As the partnership has gone along, they've started to find the gaps more and more.
Well, there's men in the outfield, but both Roberts and Cheekwee are picking the spot in the field where they believe they can hit the boundary, and their precision is perfect.
Bowling, Gray.
Really should be the case now with the South Australian spit.
The only place it's been moving lately has been to the boundary. It's 4 for 184 after 40.
In terms of his field placement, to stop the stem of runs here, he's just allowed things to go on, and that's been going on for quite some time. Shots like that. That's a magnificent shot once again by Roberts. Over mid-wicket for 4.
It's been hot work for the redhead, but he's enjoying every minute of it. Once again, giving him a bit of room. As soon as they get a bit of room, really give the ball a clout. And you know who's going to win that little confrontation? Richard Cheekwee is a lot bigger than James Brayshaw.
Well, there's plenty of action just over the back here at the Sydney Football Stadium today with the Rugby League Sevens. But you won't see too many better bumps than that one.
Foul, Gray.
Took him ball and all and put him straight to the ground.
wasn't much that Chikwi could do about that. The bowler was backing off to take the return on the bounce.
The top, he's pitched up just straight down the ground for a single.
That's a magnificent shot. Gave himself a bit of room. There was a groan from somebody in red, maybe because the ball was at the stumps, but by good footwork he got into terrific position there, Richard Chikwi.
There's nothing much you can do about this. This is just a fantastic shot. A lot of talent required to play these sorts of strokes. Mostly bowled, but bowl in line, so he's chance for LBWs.
Excellent placement and hit very hard. That brings up the 200 in fine fashion.
The shot he played earlier where he gave himself room and played the square cut was a good one. Wasn't as good as this, though. Inside out, straight over cover, and hit with enormous power. One bounce over the fence. Great drive.
Oh, and a shout from Tim Nielsen. He's missed the easiest one of the lot, the full toss. And that's very well taken by Tim Nielsen. Must have been just a faint edge.
Well, it was a wonderful innings from Richard Chikwi. Plenty of generous applause here from the crowd at the SCG, and quite rightly so. He played some magnificent strokes. But it was always going to take something different just to break up the rhythm that the pair were in. And whether it was intentional or not, but Darren Lehmann did something different, and he bowled him the full toss. But just have a look at the keeper, Tim Nielsen. Spare a thought for him, because they're not easy to take full tosses like that. A big flash of the bat and the edge. He stayed down and was able to glove it. And Chikwi out for 80 off just 84 balls. A wonderful knock from him. New South Wales 5 for 202.
All-rounder for New South Wales. Coming in after Darren Lehmann had finally got rid of Richard Chikwi in rather unusual fashion.
Chikwi will be a little bit disappointed with this. He's hit everything else in the middle of the bat. That one, full toss outside the off stump. It was the change in the length that really did him there. He was surprised by it. He got himself into very good position. Around about waist high, he would have expected to smash that straight through point for another boundary. Only succeeded in getting an edge, and Tim Nielsen did a very good job behind the stumps, keeping his eye on the ball and taking what would have been a very unexpected delivery from him as well. So good work behind there for Nielsen.
That's a good shot. Once again, placement perfect.
This is the bad delivery from Greg Blewett. This is the sort of wicket here at the SCG that if you bowl anything short and wide, it's just fruit for the boundary. What Blewett does on this occasion, in fact, it wasn't all that wide, making himself, giving himself some room and looking for that gap at point. The ball coming on off this pitch, and Robert's got the timing perfect.
Very well run.
It's an excellent strike rate, 93 from 112 balls, deep mid-on, so you'd think that there's only going to be a single result from that sort of delivery.
It's beautifully hit, and the fieldsman's made a bad error of judgment. Ball's hit the bottom of the fence. Darren Webber is the fieldsman out there. He started to come in and then realised he was in trouble. Probably in more trouble with the skipper shortly.
Certainly will be. Wigney does give Thompson some room on this occasion, and he picked that up beautifully, the drop kick off his pads. As Ian Chappell mentioned, Darren Webber made a run straight in, obviously didn't pick it up.
Thompson back for a second easily. Tell you what, he can run a bit, Scott Thompson. Pretty interesting race in this side. A few blokes who can get along. Michael Bevan, I guess you'd have to have him as the favourite, but mind you, it must be quicker when you run down the middle of the pitch. I guess it's a well-worn track. Maybe it's tartan out there in the middle. They all seem to want to use it.
Deliveries which may have gone to the boundary are being soaked up, and the endeavour is to get just one.
And he's got it. It's the mandatory punch in the air. All the jockeys do it when they win the Melbourne Cup, and Roberts has done it now, and he deserves every moment of acclaim he's receiving out there. Lovely standing ovation there. And they've wasted a couple of singles, even though Thompson is very fast between the wickets, but they didn't waste that one. The field had loafed for a fraction of a second, and that was the end of it.
They hadn't wanted to make a mistake with Roberts in the 90s, but here Scott Thompson identified two immediately. Wanted Roberts coming, he was. And home very safely.
It's beautifully played. Gillespie did the right thing. He was trying to spear it into the batsman's toes, but it was just that little bit too full.
These two are the two biggest drivers in Sydney grade cricket, both Scott Thompson and Kevin Roberts. The South Australians are trying to keep it full. That's actually what the New South Wales batsmen want. If they're forced back, they're not as effective, and that's the big full bunger that was always going to go. Gillespie's looking to bowl full. Don't think he knows that's where Scott Thompson wants him to bowl.
Should be, well, no, it's going to beat him, I think. Got it. Good catch. The perils of being up against the fence, and it was nicely judged. A very, very good piece of cricket there. Brayshaw has taken the catch. Gillespie deserves the wicket. Thompson on his way back to the pavilion.
A shot in the side's interest. On the full front foot, got under it a long way. That spent a lot of time in the air. And going back, Brayshaw's judged it to a nicety. Never left side of it. Kept his eyes right on it till the crucial moment. And the South Australians are very enthusiastic about that. Thompson here, he's a big smiter of the ball. He knew initially he'd got a good piece of it, but he hadn't reckoned on the wherewithal of Jamie Brayshaw. Eyes fixed on the ball, and that's a super catch. Maxwell promoted above Emery and McNamara in the order. He's the biggest hitter of that trio, so it's tactically correct that he should be there now. No time to play in. The Blues want 250 plus.
It's going to miss leg stump.
Good reverse swing here for Gillespie. That can be hurtful late in the order.
And that should be the fourth wicket for Jason Gillespie with the last ball of his 10 overs. It is. And Roberts goes after making a very good 100 and rescuing the New South Wales innings. Jason Gillespie, 10 overs, 4 for 46.
Very enthusiastic crowd here at the SCG today, and they're warmly applauding Kevin Roberts. He's worked hard for a couple of seasons to make it at this level, and suddenly he has a one-day 100. And hasn't he enjoyed it? 101, came in with New South Wales really in trouble and leaves with them well placed. In the end, Gillespie full, Roberts giving himself room, played the uppercut. Scuderi's been boundary roving there for a while, and he's got very good hands. Jason Gillespie, 4 wickets, announced himself during the first-class season as a prospect, confirms today in the one-day level.
Replacement, they'll cut it off, but the batsman will still get 3. They ship 156. Wonderful to watch. Maxwell will get 2. That's good running.
And although Maxwell was going to the danger end, he was safer than Emery was at any stage. So Phil Emery panting a little. Maxwell out of the blocks quickly, knowing he was going to have to go to the problem area.
And they'll get that with a certain amount of ease. 248 New South Wales to the loss of 7. You wouldn't have wanted to stack your house on that happening after those 4 good players at the top of the order had disappeared. Slater for 1, Mike Waugh for 16, Bevan 8, and Shane Lee for 2. South Australia at that time very, very much on top, and it could have been a score of around about 150 they were chasing. Instead, they've got to make 249 now, with Maxwell 3 and Phil Emery 4 walking off now at the end of the innings. Bowling figures for South Australia. Some good performances there, particularly at the top of the bowling for South Australia. Wigney 2 for 30 from 10 overs. And Jason Gillespie 10 overs, no maiden, 4 for 46. Even 7 overs, no maiden, and 1 for 34. Tim May was expensive. 43 from 8 overs, but Gillespie 4 for 46 and Wigney 2 for 30. They were the ones who did the damage at the top. So 249 to win for South.
And he was out in this fashion off the bowling of Brad Wigney. Beautifully bowled, and he's gone. Michael Slater out. Beautiful piece of bowling there. Brad Wigney gets the one to move away from the right-hander. Slater gets the edge behind, and Tim Nielsen does the work behind the stumps.
Very disappointing for Michael Slater. A little outswinger from Wigney. The searching bat and a simple catch to Nielsen. Siddons is elated. They wanted that early breakthrough. Wigney got it for them.
Yep. Thompson and Roberts. Who was first? Thompson. Out. Gone. Gillespie picks up Michael Bevan. It could have been a slower ball. He just succeeded in chipping that one straight to Tim May, who took the catch at cover.
There's no pace in this pitch. Michael Bevan's found that out. They've had the man at short cover the whole time. Wasn't quite to it. Tim May, they've had a man there in there since Bevan came to the crease. Gillespie has him, and the tactics have won.
In the air, and that's out. caught at third slip. That's very well bowled, dragging Lee out there, forcing him to cover drive, and the ball just leaving him a little bit, and straight to third slip.
Good piece of bowling and excellent captaincy from Jamie Siddons. Brought in the extra man when he was beaten outside off stump, and that extra man has taken the catch. Good bowling, good length bowling there from Jason Gillespie.
He's hit that one, got him, he's out. He's hit that one in the air, backward a point, and that is a huge wicket for South Australia. A wide delivery, just short of a length, dragging Marquardt after it, and he's hit it straight to point.
Yes, the wide half volley, as long as it swings a little bit, bowler's always got a chance, and it did swing late. Just caused the ball to hit enough in the edge to go in the air. Greg Blewett is the man at point, taking a good catch. Oh, and a shout from Tim Nielsen. He's missed the easiest one of the lot, the full toss. And that's very well taken by Tim Nielsen. Must have been just a faint edge.
Well, it was a wonderful innings from Richard Cheekwee. Plenty of generous applause here from the crowd at the SCG, and quite rightly so. He played some magnificent strokes, but it was always going to take something different just to break up the rhythm that the pair were in. Scott Thompson was the next man to fall, and he was out off the bowling of Gillespie. A very good catch this by James Brayshaw. Going right down, deep down to mid-on. Brayshaw was aware of the fence there and judged it absolutely perfectly. Roberts then, after making a wonderful century, 101, popped one up and under and up, and up and under, catch out to deep point. Joe Scuderi was the fielder, and did some good work there to dismiss Roberts. It was a wonderful innings from him, and that brought up 4 wickets for Gillespie. He and Wigney were really the pick of the South Australian bowlers. Wigney picking up 2 for 30 off his 10, and Gillespie 4 for 46 from his 10 overs. He's had a very good summer and is certainly a player with a lot of potential. Scuderi, May and Blewett all a little expensive there, and Lehmann, he went for a few, picked up a wicket with his left arm orthodox spin. Back here at the SCG, the umpires are out there with the players. 249 runs South Australia required at a run rate of 4.9 per over. It's a big ask for them, but they've got some tremendous batting in the top of their order. Nobes, Lehmann, Blewett, Siddons and Webber, all capable of hitting the ball very hard and scoring at a good run rate. Paul Nobes, prolific scorer for South Australia, as is Darren Lehmann, and he's having a terrific summer. Highest score of 140 for Paul Nobes. He enjoys batting here at the SCG. New South Wales are at the top of the competition, and with a good bowling performance, they should see themselves stay there. Our commentators are in position. It's going to be Ian Chappell, and with him, Tony Gregg.
Thank you very much, Greg. And a little bit of a surprise for New South Wales. It's going to be Brad McNamara, number 12, opening the bowling. On strike, Paul Nobes. Not the most elegant of players, Paul Nobes, but very effective. Oh, and he's knocked the stump right out of the ground. And that was a bit of swing there, and it completely defeated the forward prod of Paul Nobes.
That was a magnificent delivery, and it's brought a smile to the faces of New South Wales. It swung a bit, and the stump went straight back. Just watch it. Here we go. Well, through the gate, and that was the end of that. And so Paul Nobes will be accompanied off the ground. 1 wicket for 2.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Greg. It has moved to the number 3 position, but it's not that far away from opening. Once again, some outswing for McNamara. Paul Nobes bowled with the first ball that he faced. He wasn't playing in the same state.
Yes, you won't want to see this replay too often. You can see the bat was going nowhere, really. It was wobbling around, searching Just watch this. Just watch the bat come down, and really, he didn't know what to do. And that was the end of that.
So I think the only thing he did right was he didn't look around at the carnage behind him. He just heard the noise and kept walking.
Yes, in point of fact, there were two noises. The first noise was the ball hitting the stump, and the next one was the stump hitting the ground about 2 meters away.
I won't hear it again, hopefully.
He'll be lucky.
Now that's one of his strengths. Loves it square of the wicket, Darren Lehmann.
Yes, he certainly does. And this one did fly off the meat of the bat. He's very strong, powerful. And I think this tells the story. It was out there and whack. It was 4 from the moment he hit it. All he had to do was get into the gap. And you can see there, that's really screamed away. No point in running for those.
There, how the ball, when it's brand new, the white ball really does stand out beautifully. Sadly, here at the SCG, that doesn't last too long. Players saying that, particularly in the night games, but also in the day part of those games, the ball very hard to pick up in the last few overs. Richard Chikwi with a long chase there.
New South Wales with
completely lost the grip on it. Michael Slater, Kevin Roberts.
Yeah, just watching Kevin Roberts there, he
Actually lost Paul Nobes in the first. Since then, Greg Blewett has really got things moving along. It'll be away for 4. Advised is the signal.
He generates a bit of pace, Shane Lee, and when this happens, then there's always a chance of 4. That was bad delivery, right off line, and just a little flick of the pads there, enough to deflect it away from the wicketkeeper.
Original rate. Good sliding save there. Scott Thompson, third man, very athletic. Shane Lee, in fact. Very good save.
Well, that's very well done. In the fingertips. And what's more, up in a flash, and he got rid of it straight away too.
And Mark Waugh. McNamara can't believe it. But Mark Waugh can't believe it either.
It's incredible. Well, we've given him a pat on the back that many times. Have a look at this. I tell you what, he will definitely not want to see this too often. Whack, in and out. That's as easy as they come at slip. And the bowler, let's have another look at that. You won't see this happen too often. A nick straight to Mark Waugh and straight out. And that was the reaction of McNamara.
Blewett just gave him the just cool it a bit sign. That'll be away for 4 again.
Yes, again, not a very good delivery, this one from Shane Lee, I'm afraid. And a very good execution of a little leg glide, yeah? Almost too well played. Wicketkeeper wasn't that far away from it, but watch it. Pitches outside leg stump and just nicely deflected away, about a metre away from the keeper. And no one covering that fine area, so 4 more. Pushed the ball away in a defensive manner. In the old days, he would have smashed it.
Like that.
Yes, that's a very good shot. Not before time, mind you. He's had a few in that area, and he's hit them straight to fielders and mistimed them. That's the way he likes to hit them. Not trying to force it. You can see here that just leant into this one, and that was the end of that.
He's got an excellent strike rate in this competition. Andy Flower 57, Danny Morrison 3 for 39. And it's away to the boundary once again. So good over there for Darren Lehmann, moving South Australia to 1 for 36. Shane Lee back in the game, but he can't cut that one off. Bad couple of overs here for New South Wales with the boundaries flowing.
Yes, this is another really bad delivery. We haven't seen McNamara bowl many. But, this is a bad one. He's got figures of 1 for 11. And have a look at that. Pitching on the stumps and going down the leg side with your fine leg very square. Play well, and we don't have any huge upsets.
No slips in.
In fact, just flicking through the brochure here, just noticed that New Zealand are in the opposite group. They're in Group B. So it's not possible that we'll make it big.
Well, it's just a question of which one will get under it. Take your pick, and Thompson has a wicket. Shane Lee has taken the catch. Greg Blewett has found the outside edge. Just trying to whip it away. Updike onto the onside leading edge, but the replay will confirm that, or otherwise.
That was a good piece of bowling from Scott Thompson. You'll notice he goes wide on the crease. He bowled a slower delivery to Blewett, the previous one. And see how he gets out there wide on the crease, angles back into Blewett. Blewett trying to whip it away over square leg. Only succeeds in getting a leading edge or an outside edge, as Richie Benno mentioned. And it went a long way up in the air. But Shane Lee's got a very good piece of hands. Big piece of hands, in fact. A very good pair of hands. South Australia 2 for 43.
For the South Australians.
He makes it look reasonably easy in the end and takes it comfortably, but they're never too easy, those catches. There you go, that one went a long way in the air. The wind does swirl around in these big cricket stadiums. The MCG and the SCG, you get your own sort of winds happening out there. This would have swirled around a lot, but he never took his eye off the ball, and the key to his catching was that he kept his hands up and caught it very, very high in front of his eyes. Shaking it there, saying, yes, that was how I was supposed to do it. Looks up to the sun, sunglasses on. That would have helped him. One of the Australian cricketers to go to the World Cup, Shane Lee. They're a very, very good.
He was a player with a bit about him. Good prospect. Stroke for Siddons to get off the mark. And they get 3 there. There's Jimmy Maher, who was playing with Queensland. Good player. Then down in Victoria, they only talk about Matthew Elliott. They say that he has to play Test cricket, and up here it's more. 3 more there. And it's 2 for 51. World Cup for that. Nice stroke. Beautifully angled bat and perfect timing from Darren Lehmann.
This is one of the reasons that Darren Lehmann scores so many runs at the South Australian Cricket Ground, Adelaide Oval. He's very strong square of the wicket. And that stroke there shows why. Stands up on his toes, angles the bat. Smashes it. He's not too bad off the front foot straight down the wicket either.
Just going back to that World 11 match. We'll be flying back from... It's very, very important that Lehmann bats on here.
He almost was heading back to the pavilion. He'll pick up 4 for his trouble, but commonly known as the French cut. I guess they don't draw maps, they just count up how many you are at the end of the day. Lehmann gets 4 from an indifferent sort of stroke.
Frenchmen don't like to think of it like that. They prefer to be called the Harrow cut. Surrey flick is another. 4 teams playing off. It's going down leg side. By much, but not by much for him to get back in either.
Had this been a direct hit, Jamie Siddons may well have been in some trouble. There may have just been a little bit of bat in it. In fact, there was some bat in it. The umpire has given it some runs. But just have a look here. He's in safely. Well judged. He's in safely. Well judged.
Great stroke from Siddons. One of his favourite shots over extra cover. Plays it quite beautifully.
He's one of the few players in cricket, in first-class cricket in Australia, who possesses the ability. We saw Richard Cheekwee do it on occasions today, but go what we call inside out. He gives himself some room. You notice where his feet are outside the leg stump, and he feels a lot more comfortable hitting the ball over mid-off. So taking the bat.
He only plays 46 balls.
Well, Scott Thompson doesn't seem all that fussed about the fact that they've picked up 2 there, but he can only blame himself because he's pitching onto the pads of Lehmann. Lehmann had enough insight.
Which is a problem when you get the new ball.
In the air, but nicely chipped over the infield. We've seen a bit of this in this match, and each time it's done, it's been effective.
Here, Thompson trying this little finger off cutter, but Siddons equal to it.
That's well played, beautifully timed, and right into the gap as well. That's as good a shot as been played today. Always under control. Lovely timing.
Thompson must know that the game plan wouldn't be to give Siddons width, although he's such a strong driver, equally powerful square. And Jamie Siddons has so many psychological advantages over these New South Welshmen. Psychological advantages over these New South Welshmen. He's given it to them for years. 22 from 23.
Oh, and again, a magnificent straight drive. Well, that's an even better shot. Consecutive shots. As good as you'll see. 2 for 86. Really did smash it away. Just watch this for a good shot. It's just a bit short outside off stump. Didn't try and hit it too hard. Placement was perfect. And then, of course, he followed that up with a straight drive, which went back past the bowler before he had time to do anything.
Terrific reading of the bowler, wasn't it? He knew that Scotty Thompson was pretty new to this game.
Whoops, and that was very nearly the wicket they needed so much. The sweep shot played away, and the man strategically placed just behind square. That wasn't quite off the meat of the bat. That's well taken too. The throw about 10 metres off line. And Emery has to go after that one and end up diving across the middle of the pitch. Yes, this could so easily have been out. Just have another look at this. This is, in fact, the return, and it's Emery diving away to stop it from running away for overthrows.
This pair, as they've done so often in recent times, 51 in 71 balls. They represent real danger to the Blues.
Things really can be picked up very quickly. Richard Chikwi, chaser. That brings up the 100 for South Australia in the 24th over.
They're definitely in with a chance, but much depends on these two players. Siddons, the captain, and Lehmann, who's playing particularly well at the moment, just reached his half-century. They win this match, they can jump over the top of Queensland and Tasmania in the points table. Themselves in.
Good shot. Excellent timing from Jamie Siddons. Hard man to tie down. The fact that he hits so well over cover, Bill Emery has got a man out in the deep to try and cut off that shot. In fact, he's just moving mid-off. That's a different move, that one, but it's paid off. It's brought him a boundary. He's got the bowler scratching his head.
But he has. I wouldn't say that with either stroke he was in any way perfectly balanced. He got that off the meat of the bat all right.
Try and put a bit of pressure on the young man. And he's found the gap in the outfield.
They reckon that Kershner is the one they do need to get after. He's coming to the side in place of Matthews, as Ian Chappell pointed out. So he'll be less confident than the player of Matthews.
Oh, the bowler will be filthy with himself there for missing that one, and then a mix-up in the outfield. So what should have been a dot ball finishes up as 2.
Bill Emery hardly knows what to say. That's the first bit of it. Bowler won't like that. Bad enough missing one of someone else's bowling. And then
this time he does go over cover. 8 runs off the over. It's 2 for 129.
need to keep pushing it along.
Shane Lee. 50 to Jamie Siddons.
Jamie Siddons has made 50 from 57 balls, and Darren Lehmann 62 from 82, so there's definitely no need for them to do anything.
Reed, Siddons and Lehmann moving along quite quickly. I wouldn't say securely. They make a habit of getting into this New South Wales attack.
Jeffrey Lawson, good afternoon.
Thanks, Greg. Yeah, it is pretty even so far. New South Wales, we need a wicket. One of these two right now would be very handy. They're both batting quite well.
And there it is, just as he called it. They needed the wicket, and it came through Shane Lee. A very good piece of bowling. Darren Lehmann looking to hit him straight down the ground, doesn't make contact, and the off stump gets bent straight back.
Well, certainly need to see the back of that man. It's a pretty straight delivery, and Lehmann tried to heave it away. And Jamie Siddons at the other end puts the head down and says, what did you play that for? But Shane Lee breaks through. New South Wales needed that one. Third wicket, very vital, but well played, Darren Lehmann.
Was a very good innings from him. 67 from 91. South Australia now 3 for 145. Webber is now out in the centre for South Australia. He's joining his captain, Jamie Siddons, who was very upset at the dismissal of Darren Lehmann. And understandably, when you see this stroke, Lehmann looking to hoist this over mid-wicket. Richie Benno had made the point earlier on that there was some panicking going on between Siddons and Lehmann. They were playing all sorts of shots, really in a situation where they don't need to do that, and that could cost their side.
The games he played, mostly that older ball.
This has got to be out if he hits. He's gone. Yards out. And really, that's just committing suicide, taking that sort of run. It's a beautiful piece of fielding. But another crucial breakthrough for New South Wales. And the Webber being run out.
Well, Darren Webber goes for two reasons. One, the pressure put on by the bowling, but also by a super piece of fielding for Neil Maxwell. Let's have a look at it. Good bowling right up the block hole. Webber sets off, and Neil Maxwell has him by yards. And as a coach, you like to see those sorts of things because you practice them for hours and hours every week. The underarm throws at the stumps. And when you get a good shot at the stumps, you'd like to make the hit, and Neil Maxwell does the job.
So South Australia lose their fourth wicket, 4 for 147. James Brayshaw is out at the wicket. The fall of the fourth wicket out of Darren Webber, and he was run out in this fashion.
Darren Webber been caught on strike for 3 or 4 balls, anxious to get off strike. Beautiful bounce of Neil Maxwell, lined it up, took his time, and the bottom and middle, and then Darren Webber just gets into frame. Jim Cameron, umpire, looking at the ball, he'll be heading for the crease.
And Jeffrey, you'll be heading back to the sheds. Thanks very much for joining us. And there's another one. So it's all falling apart for South Australia. Shane Lee doing the job for New South Wales. He's bowling very straight and on a good length. And the crucial wicket of Jamie Siddons goes clean bowled by Shane Lee. So South Australia in all sorts of trouble.
Well, Jamie Siddons wasn't too happy when Darren Lehmann heaved one across the line and lost his off stump. Now the captain goes the same way. Just a bottom edge on the leg stump, and gee, what's he doing playing a shot like that? Mind you, I'm happy. I've got 3 wickets in my spell, and I will get back to the sheds.
Thanks very much, Jeff. It's now 5 for 147. Joe Scuderia is out in the centre for South Australia. He's out there as a result of a crucial wicket for New South Wales. Shane Lee picked up the wicket of Jamie Siddons. And that sent the leg stump cartwheeling back. No real need for that. That sort of batting at that stage, and Tony Gregg, they're really digging themselves into a big hole.
No real need for it. He absolutely ashamed of that. South Australia are trying to get themselves back into this competition. They need to win this match, and they need to win it well as well. And what we've effectively seen here is their 2 senior players. Some good batting now. They need to score it just over 6. Well, in fact, it's sort of nudging up to about 7 now, 6.8 and over.
And that was, I think that figure there is what's been troubling both Siddons and Lehmann. They were looking at themselves. You've just got to let them come. But the ones and twos were a feature of that partnership. Good placement of the ball, just like we're seeing on this occasion. As Brayshaw picks up two. Good placement of the ball. And lots of ones and twos. And all of a sudden, that puts pressure back onto the fielding and bowling side. The ship between Siddons and Lehmann. That's going down to fine leg, and it's not going to beat the man down there. That's very well fielded. Scott Thompson is the man down at fine leg. Very, very quick on his feet. He can add 2 to his score here. This was a very good piece of fielding. Here's that partnership, 102 between Lehmann and Siddons, and they were doing it so comfortably. Really, wickets in hand were the key for South Australia. It's very difficult to stop them when they go down there. That's going to race all the way to the boundary. No first slip in place. And Mark Waugh's run of bad luck continues.
Yeah, it was a big nick. It was just a bit short to go. The batsman too much room there, and it was way, way away from the gloves. No chance of dismissal there.
New South Wales at a comparative stage, as well as having one more wicket down. That's a lovely shot. Just landing inside the fence. That's well hit.
And this is what New South Wales fear from Joe Scuderi, the fact he takes on fielders and is prepared to go over the top. Phil Emery quickly making some adjustment down the pitch, inside out, no man back. It's a mighty blow. He went for it from the moment he saw the ball. Got to play a part today.
It's a reasonable shout. Phil Emery just finding it a little difficult to do the two things at once. Dive and save the ball, and then get a hand up for the appeal.
McNamara just getting that to come back and trapped him going nowhere. Phil Emery really liked it. He possibly liked it more than the chase. That's a very good shout. Coming back, obviously hit the pad first. Is very well for a final assault.
That's well hit.
Very good driver of the lines, Jamie Brayshaw. Scott Thompson's bowled it foolishly to him, giving himself a little room. Got under a little too much, perhaps not enough middle to go for 4. Throw off balance. That's a long one at this level.
That's a good shot. It's what they needed, a boundary.
Got to give credit here to Brayshaw. Although he gave himself room, Thompson bowled it full and straight. He's a very good square driver. And with Mark Waugh there fairly shallow in the gully, he's bisected the field placements beautifully. Very intelligent batting from Brayshaw. He's built this innings up slowly. 22 from...
It's 5 for 200 after 44. Maxwell coming on at the Randwick end.
Another who the Blues rely on in the tight situations is Neil Maxwell. He'll keep slanting into these right-handers as well.
Well, that's well hit.
Scuderi had gone over the top of cover against Scott Thompson, against the new bowler, knowing he's going to be ripping his fingers under the seam. He said, I might go with the rip, and he's let one go over the top of mid-wicket.
This time he goes over mid-off. Hits it pretty well.
Shane Lee mirrors the athleticism these days in the modern game. The inside out, over cover, a terrific gather here, and turn and throw. Big shout again going down. Same method being employed.
Should be looking for two. It's been a good over for South Australia. They still have plenty of wickets in hand.
He's got that away nicely over mid-wicket. Not quite as wide as he'd have wanted. So whereas Maxwell went for plenty in the last over, McNamara's holding firm.
Joe Scuderi looking to hit that from wide outside off stump. He's obviously picked the place over mid-wicket.
He's chipped it away over the infield. Bevan the fielder.
The remarkable part about that was Michael Bevan almost took this. It was always going to be two and safe in the outfield to any other fielder on the ground. Bevan goes so close to getting his hands to it. Watching the ball all the way, he makes so much ground. He's so very quick. That would have been a full catch.
That's what is needed. Didn't come off the middle of the bat, but it went where there was no fielder.
We saw the full toss get a wicket in the New South Wales innings. This time Maxwell tries it, waist high, straight over second slip. Couldn't have got it in a better place on the ground for four.
Well, it's miscued, but again it's gone where they can pick up two without the fielder intervening. Five for 228. And Maxwell's got him. Bottom edge, down onto the stumps. Well, there'll be great relief out there in the New South Wales side because all that was just starting to look a little difficult. Now South Australia has cost them one ball. It's the end of the over and they have to bring in a new man.
Good piece of bowling. He's right at the wickets. He does get some bottom edge on that, drags it back, Jamie Brayshaw. Tried his best work, but Neil Maxwell's trying as well. He knows where he has to bowl. That's where he's doing it. So James Brayshaw Good innings, 35 from 35. With South Australia now 6 for 228. '48th over about to be bowled. Tim Nielsen is at the wicket. He's a very handy batsman in this situation. He's going to need to make some this afternoon. He's out there as a result of this dismissal. A good piece of bowling from Neil Maxwell. Bayshore looking to hoist it back over the top of the bowler's head. Just gets the inside edge, and one Kookaburra left standing and one having a little lay down on the ground. And it may well have something to do with the fact that in the last over, there were actually 7 deliveries bowled. We've had that confirmed by our statistician Max Kruger and the official scorers here at the SCG. And it was that 7th ball which produced the wicket. So that was the reason for the discussion between Emery and Darrell Hare, and also Joe Scuderi and Darrell Hare, one would think. That's a big hit. That's going all the way out to the boundary at deep mid-wicket, and that's 4 runs. Tremendous hit from Tim Nielsen. And Tim Nielsen coming in at a very difficult time. In fact, it was Joe Scuderi who smashed this away. He's been looking at that area all afternoon. He's taking them from outside off stump. This time he gets a hold of it. And that boundary keeps South Australia very much in this run chase.
Bear in mind, there's got to be 4 men inside the circle. They can't put all the men around the boundary. They can have 5 out, which they've got at the moment. And they're going to look for 2. Chiqui's the fielder. And they've got it. 1 or 2 little exclamations of "for goodness sake" out there. Shows the pressure that can be applied late in the day.
Terrific running. McNamara not able to get across. And from the time he hit it, Nielsen knew he had to make quick ground. He put his head down, ran the first one very quickly, made a good turn and makes it home for 2. So 6 runs. Not the last 2 deliveries, very handy. South Australia.
Only get 1 this time unless there's a misfield. Shane Lee in the marginally pleased with him. And is waving his arms and has the gloves on. He's too keen to get the ball in. Now let's disturb McNamara. Six balls to go. Now, all sorts of meetings going on over there. The captain
is up. So Maxwell's got to concentrate outside the off stump.
It's a great shot. He's cut it off. Could be trouble. What a great finish this is going to be. Some very, very exciting cricket there. Splendid fielding out on the boundary there by Slater. Got 3. 6 runs needed from 4 balls. Slower balls. Gone straight to the man at point, who was unsided. They're going to take 2. And get it.
Well, we've spoken about this ball becoming difficult to pick up. Scuderi didn't get that at all near the middle of the bat. And it's just squeezed out to point. And that fieldsman out there was unable to pick the ball up. He's standing in shade. It's 3 runs and 2 balls remaining. What a finish.
Bevan. Well done. Clever cricket. And it's cost 1 ball for South Australia. They didn't get the run they were seeking. But Scuderi does have strike.
This is beautifully bowled from Neil Maxwell. Exactly the right position. A big Yorker. Tim Nielsen couldn't get any bat on it at all. Look at Michael Bevan. Cool hand Luke. Just runs in. He knows he's got the wicket. Very good cricket from New South Wales from both the bowler Neil Maxwell and the fielder Michael Bevan. And Tim Nielsen, a little smile on his face. He's enjoying the contest. 7 for 246. Tim Nielsen run out for 3. And that brings Jason Gillespie, the man of the moment. Well, he's not going to have to face. He's just going to have to get his running legs on. And it's 3 runs from the last delivery.
Couldn't have a much better finish than this. I suppose if the run out hadn't come there, it might be said to be a better finish, but this has everything resting on the 2 men there. Scuderi, who has played quite beautifully for his 54, and Maxwell, who is about to bowl the last delivery.
South Australia's hopes in this Sheffield, in this
Last ball. Not good enough. Not good enough. They can take the single, but they've fallen short. Just 2 runs short of victory for South Australia, the match they so desperately needed to win.
Well, that was a wonderful game of cricket, and there's hands being shaken all over the place out there. The South Australians, Gillespie shaking hands with the New South Welshmen. You won't see a better finish to a cricket game than that. A very, very good innings by Joe Scuderi. 55, not out. Gillespie was no wicket, not out. And the New South Welshmen, they stuck to their tasks. There was a little bit of panic late in the fielding. We saw Mark Waugh put down a couple of chances today, just indicating of just how much pressure was out there. Michael Bevan kept his head. He fielded very, very well. And a very happy New South Wales side leaves the ground. And we've got some discussion going on out there at the moment. From the South Australian point of view, they're talking to the umpires. It may have something to do with some counting problems in the overs just preceding the 50th over.
Not the first time South Australia in their Mercantile Mutual Cup games have been involved in counting problems. There was an over up in Queensland at the Gabba that went for 11 balls. Well, the South Australians are out on the ground now, congratulating New South Wales. It was a wonderful match all the way through. New South Wales collapsed because of excellent South Australian bowling early on. Then they had that brilliant partnership between Kevin Roberts and Richard Cheekwee, and that rescued them, and then they managed to get up to their 248. South Australia started well. They started better than New South Wales with Lehmann 67. Nobes, you can't really say that he started better because he faced just the 1 ball. McNamara got a good one through him. And then Blewett and Siddons. Splendid partnership between Lehmann and Siddons. I've no idea what they were doing towards the end. Darren Lehmann looked as though he was so exhausted he couldn't play normally, and he was dismissed at a crucial time. And then Jamie